Like, I usually feed stray cats in the streets, like, since I was maybe 13. And one day my mom was walking and she sees this girl at the garbage side feeding cats. She goes to her and she thought it's me, and she's like, hey, and the girl looks back, and my mom's like, oh, I'm sorry, I thought you were my daughter. And the girl's like, oh, so your daughter feed cats at the garbage? She's like, yeah. And she was so excited, and she's like, please take my number and ask her to call me. So I called her that day, same day, and we met up. And it turned out that both of us feed cats in the streets, and we were so happy to meet each other, because it was so hard to be alone doing this and people criticize you and that. Together we started rescuing cats, and we both had apartments. So we turned one of them to a cat shelter, which is like basically was for the injured cats that we couldn't release back. So this is how it started.
Here are our three very, very special guests from Beirut for the ethical treatment of animals, who are Maggie, Joelle, and Safa. Can you just stand up, you guys?
Like, the war started 12th of July.
We've always been doing rescues for the last 2-3 years, but during the war it was much more difficult because many areas were inaccessible and too risky to get to. And there were a lot of additional abandoned pets and injured animals, and some of them just needed help, many of them needed help, and it was quite more difficult to get to them. So some of them were reachable, some were not reachable, and we knew that some animals are suffering in some areas that we couldn't reach. And during the war, we doubled our animals at the shelters. Like, from 115 dogs, we got to 237 dogs, and we had 90 cats, and we reached 200 cats. So it was quite difficult.
We're like a rescue team. We give awareness events. We do adoption. We do everything. And we're just 8 people, and maybe you can say 20 dedicated volunteers.
Me and Maggie will work for the United Nations.
What we do is, like, we go to the shelters in the morning before work, then after work till midnight, 1, 2 p.m. and 2 a.m. And the sad part is that our dog shelter is located at the edge of the Beirut suburbs, and all we see on TV that this area is being bombed. This big missile fell 400 meters from our dog shelter, and we found shrapnel inside the cages. And that was like, that's it. And we went crazy looking for another place. Like, we wanted to move 130 dogs. Luckily, one of our volunteers knew a guy who had a pig farm. It was abandoned for more than 10 years. So we had to clean it up ourselves because all the workers evacuated Lebanon. And the next day we were moving dogs in our cars. We were 3 cars. We had 130 dogs, and each car can have at once 2 dogs. So it was pretty hard because, like, there are volunteers, but it's very hard for them to enter that area. So we had to take the risk to take the dogs out.